Hey, decent. Thank you for popping by. So, I don't want to, oops. Yeah, I don't want to spoil too much, but I'll just put it this way. With the events of today, it's now been five straight challenges where our deck has top aided. So, yeah, I think there is a legitimate chance we're definitely the second best deck in Legacy, and good chance we're just. I mean, there's the oops, mute. Decent chance we're just the best deck in Legacy. Why does it say it's the stream starting? I'm not showing my screen. Looks like my stream is down. I don't know why. What is going on? Okay, I think it's working now. I don't know what was going on before, but it was like really slow. Let me know if it works now. I think you should be able to see the screen. I don't know what's going on. But I just want to talk about the new innovation. I tweeted out that I'm streaming more or less the same list from Friday, namely the first opposition agent. I think is something I've liked for a while, but just haven't had the space. But I also had the idea to play the crop rotation in the. Okay, perfect. All right. Perfect. All right. So it sounds like everybody can hear me now and see me now. I decided to move the crowd rotation to the main, and I did not play yesterday. I 5-0'd on Friday with essentially, let me show this list here, and then what's it called? I 5-0'd on Friday with this list here, but I don't actually think we need the Force of Vigor, especially in leagues. So I'm like debating about the first ley line or even possibly even the second agent because of how good it potentially can be. Um, what do you think, chat? What do you want me to play today? I don't. I think the first force is like okay. There's like nothing wrong with it per se. It's just like not something I think we need at the moment because these D&T and like ACAS matches, you should be favored, assuming tight play. How is card rotation over second board? I only played one league so far with it, Achilles or Ming Empire. That was Friday. I 5-0'd with it, and it came up twice. And in those two situations, it was both game ones. Game one against Delver, game one against Blue Zenith. And both times it was quite good. But again, that's like a very low sample size. Um, I'm sorry to hear that, Josh. I know the Giants, I believe, are playing the Dodgers at the moment. I don't follow too closely during the regular season, but I believe that's what happened. Sorry to hear that, Josh. Okay, we can play the Force of Vigor. It seems like we can just run it back then, if that's the only recommendation I see here. No, well, we have one Hydra, I guess. We don't have the lair, right? We don't have the land. Um, if there are no objections, I guess the count is 1-0 in favor of HC Fox for the Force of Vigor. But the other options would be like a ley line. Theo Jung, who is playing the top gate right now, thinks maybe a second crop. He is one of the members of the Reclaimer Cabal. So briefly chatting with him because he played this list earlier this week. My comments are not showing up. Ming, I only see 3 comments so far from you, which is just the comments not showing yes and how has crop rotation felt. Unless there's something else that I'm missing. I think there's something going on with Twitch at the moment. It is like notably lagging. And maybe because streaming services in the other room, but I think it should be okay, hopefully. Okay, again, I guess I'll give another 30 seconds or so if there's no recommendation other than Force Vader. Otherwise, we can just go with that. Like, part of me kind of wants to play the first ley line because, mostly because I don't like when graveyard players think they can play around it, right? Um, and I just don't think we kind of need this card in general. Thank you for the follow, Carlo90. Yeah, I apologize for the lag. I don't know. I'm like viewing on my I'm viewing on Twitch and I see that it's lagging. I don't know why. So okay. Um, let's just do that. I do not want to play choke. I just don't think I need more cards against blue decks, Ming Empire. Like, my philosophy has always been like I'm gonna try to outplay the blue player, and I think if you have trouble in the blue matchups, you can play it. I just don't think I'm gonna lose like to those players. Is the long story short. Um, and I rather try to shore up some of these other matchups. Okay, yeah, I can. I don't know why it's lagging. Okay, let's do this. I'm gonna make the call to play the ley line, and then we'll see how it goes. If you get it against like these oops all spells players or reanimate, it's just a I win, right? Like how are they gonna play around one ley line? Yeah, Josh, I saw some of the highlights. I know there was the Bellinger's Grand Slam, and I saw that Trace Turner had hit the go ahead as well. But yeah, I don't play cards like Choke or like Carpet of Flowers just because I don't think we need it. Like, I mean, we already have. I think even before Allosaurus Shepherd, I think the deck is already good as is against these blue decks, especially with Thoughtseize being so, you know, flexible as it is. But I just don't think it. Not that it can't happen. I just don't. I'm gonna play the percentage that it won't happen. The notifications, Josh, are probably actually let me do this. think it's that. Yeah, the more fire card. So, do you like Leyline of the Void, Jay Z? Is this a fire card? Not really, right? I guess there's the new border, but there is Force of Vigor. I just don't know if we need that kind of card. I get like I don't like losing to these oops all spells or whatnot decks. All right, we'll start. I think this is a pretty reasonable hand. Turn one ramp. Hey, High Star, how's it going? Ooh, I wonder if it's Reanimator. There is a chance here we just slam Gris. Like, I'm not gonna play scared. I don't think. It's gonna be hilarious. Okay, there's some. I don't even know what this does. Grixis colors looks like. I'm sorry, Jay Z. Yeah, that's true. Let's not punish the unfair players too much. Although Elves is an unfair deck. Although some question that against our version, but for the most part, pretty unfair. I think Ancestral Recall in your deck is pretty unfair. Let's pop this off first and see what we. Sure. Guess we're glad we didn't draw that. I think here we're gonna Visionary. I want to hit land drops. I mean, if they forced, they would have forced the Gris, right? Okay, they forced that. Interesting. We're gonna bash. Maybe the prismatic ending here. I don't know. Like these decks have been playing, 4C, right? No, they don't. Um, I got it this year for being a previous participant in the showcase qualifier. I believe that's the reason why I got it. Um, but yeah, I definitely like the Saga icon a lot more than what was previously there, which was let's go ahead and plus first. Yeah. I think we can lead with the symbiote and see what they do. Play the shepherd now. There is probably no reason to play the Burst Lord in case they play consumes all. Looks like Twitch is going a lot faster. I wish I had been able to log on earlier. earlier. Potentially, to check this out, but I think yeah, it looks like the internet issues that we're seeing is hopefully over. I think here, do we care? I think we just allow it. Sure. All right. So we do have the endurance for like a potential snapcaster. I don't know what they're gonna snap into though. Like they don't have anything great in the yard. Like they're gonna him us. That's not gonna do anything. Iteration, they're gonna be tapped out, and they're staring down a lot of damage here. I mean, it's good against Murktide for whatever it's worth. Jay Z. Actually, in honor of Jay Z here, I'm embarrassed to not have done this already. Please ban Force of Negation already in Modern. It is terrorizing far too many of these combo players as ourselves, right? Like, the only safe haven right now seems to be Legacy Elves. Although, actually, for those of you who tuning in here now, sure. For those of you tuning in, uh, Elves has now top aided Reclaimer Elves specifically even 5 challenges in a row. And shout out to Yurt for 3 consecutive top eights now. In today, yesterday, and the week before, right? They can. I mean, these black decks like to just load up on engineer. It doesn't really do anything against us, honestly. Let's see. What did they do? They put a bolt in their hand. All right, so we take down. We go to 5, and everything dies. I think here we're probably just gonna want to play the endurance, like just for more damage. Yeah, this is like one of those decks that Gris just like solos, right, so to speak. Um, I think we bash. Well, let's see. We can attack everybody at the Narset and see how they block. Yeah, I kind of like that. So they must block 3, and we just take it off normally. I'm doing this like a boomer, but let's do it like this. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 attackers. Actually, we have to do this as well. Yeah, I don't know, like why Twitch is so bad right now. It might just be my internet. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with my internet. Normally, I stream. There's like stream that goes on as well. It shouldn't be the internet. Might have to refresh. I think that helped. Actually, it's slow. Jesus, it's behind the Twitch stream. Might be consumes all here. Fury. Jesus. Okay. One, two, three, four, five, six in the yard. Hmm. One, two, three, four, five, six. There. If we attack with all, that's seven. They can block three, go to four. Sorry. And presumably one dies. Yeah, I think we just bash with all here. Yeah, so Grish just pretty much solo this matchup. Alright, we're bringing Thoughtseize. I thought about playing it like a Veil Summer, but I'm not sure that's where we want to be at. Heritage Druid, notably not very good in this kind of matchup. I don't think we want the crop. And then we can cut probably the endurance. Doesn't really do anything. Because I'm assuming they're on a consumes all deck. Uh, ooh, that was pretty loud. One second.
Why is everything slow?
Yeah, it's no longer muted. I think here we just want to ramp because the second land is bog. It's like quite slow though right now.
I
I think
can stop, I'll stop
it's okay. It's okay. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna close the streaming, and then I'll just look at my OBS for chat. Let's do it that way. That's actually better. It saves the bandwidth.
it.
The, the dreaded turn to him. I think we go like this. Obviously, it's gonna be real bad if they hit us again or something like that. Him, one of those cards that is Actually, on the play, not so much on the draw. I think here we're gonna want to see the cradle is huge. Yeah. We can play around. Like we would walk into a consumes all or an engineer here. I think maybe we just do that. Like it's still a two for two, a two for one. They would just. All right. That's what I was afraid of. Like we don't have a payoff. There's a chance we just like slow roll that, but I kind of just wanted it out of their hand. This matchup post board is quite hard. Or actually, it can be hard if you don't draw your payoffs, right? Like, and we had to unfortunately spend the green sun turn one. I didn't really want to do it that way, but I don't think we can afford to miss land drops. So that's why I ramped there, and a little bit punished by that hidden. Notably here, if we just top deck natural like we always do, we're still in a good spot. Uh, Let me do that and pass. Let me check the stream, see if it's fast now. Looks like the stream is still buffering. Jesus, it's, I don't know what is going on. Yeah, I'm thank you for the follow trouts. I don't know why that's the case. Um, Unfortunately, sudden edict. Sure, I don't know why they're doing it on my upkeep, but that's kind of disappointing. The all the buffering here. We're flooding out a little bit, notably. Hey Mike, how's it going? Appreciate you popping by. Uh, yeah, our stream is buffering here. I don't know why. Like, it's like very strange right now. It's not like I had the computer on for a while or anything. And from an OBS perspective, it actually looks fine. Sure, I guess. Oh, thank you for the raid. Impact returns. I don't know if Inigo is, you know, running the fort over there, or who's raiding me, but appreciate the raid. Thank you very much. We're just started the league. We're up a game here against Grixis Control, flooding out a little bit, unfortunately. I don't think we're allowed to attack here into the Strix. For those of you who are tuning in, I want to congratulate another uh, top eight for our deck today. That's five straight top eights for Reclaimer Elves or Cradle Control, whatever you want to call it, or Oops All Cradles. So two this weekend. What are they? Sure. Two this weekend, and then two last weekend, and one the weekend before. Courtesy, the last three courtesy of Yerg, Aaron Relentless, and then Testacular, and also Inigo Rumcore, who's I know casting over there. Who's casting over there with the top eight as well. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with our Twitch at the moment. I'm not sure if it's just like us or like other people as well, but it is just quite difficult right now for us to deal with. Not what you want to be doing. So we can kill notably the vessel here. Yikes. Thank you for the follow, Luka Daki. Notably, I think if we had drawn the natural order at any point, we'd probably win this game, but we just didn't, unfortunately. So, all right, thanks for the confirmation there, Mike. I think that might be on Ming Empire slash Achilles. Oops, I was supposed to block. It's okay. I would have probably lost this game regardless. Actually, yeah, yeah, I probably lose it regardless. Yeah, that's okay. All right, let's see. How do we want to board for game three? I don't think they have any kind of like. I don't think they have any kind of. Let's call it. I want the bog. Yeah, I probably still want the bog. I don't think they have any kind of graveyard shenanigans, so I think we'll just keep it as is. I'm a little bit scared of these engineers, which is why I boarded down to one heritage, and I just kept the bog for the sake of keeping bog. There is an argument for the crop rotation though. It might just be better than some of the other stuff. Having another land drop here is nice, but in case they try to him us out at lands. Sure. I apologize for the buffering. Again, this is not the first time I've had this issue to this level, I guess. So I do not know why it's taking so long to buffer. Um, yeah, I can't, and I also can't tell if it's just my stream or somebody else's. So please bear with me until that hopefully resolves itself. I think here we just take the shepherd because we have a lot of lands already. I'm just gonna run the shepherd out, and hopefully they just like deal with it. So nice. Okay, I appreciate that, Mike and Bergioyn. So ideally here they kill the shepherd and then we can just cast Visionary too. Looks like it's gonna be a Ponderer Bolt. Yeah, that's good. Thank you for the follow, Eureka Magic. I'm assuming that's Mike, but under a different alias potentially. Here's kind of nice, I think. We're gonna leave with a Visionary. I did see the raid, Inigo. So I did shout out the impact for the for raiding us. I appreciate that, Inigo. There is some buffering issue that seems to be going on right now with the stream. I'm not really quite sure why. This is the first time I've had this issue, and I don't think it is internet related because my wife actually uh, courteously uh, t- stopped the streaming that she was doing, and usually she streams anyway, so it shouldn't matter. I think here I kind of want to lead with the shepherd to force the other stuff through. Um, yeah, I think I want to do that. So I'll go ahead and get the. I'm gonna regret this obviously if they have a sweeper, but hopefully not. Alright, I am tilted a little bit right now. I shouldn't have done the line that I did. I should have waited a turn, but I'm like messing up. Like we get just blown out right now. I think. Yeah, I think we're gonna get blown out. Okay, we didn't get blown out. Luckily, I was scared of consumes all or engineer on this board state. Honestly, we should just. Think of the follow strategies. So notably now, I think we probably beat a consumes all, and then an engineer is not the worst here either. But all right, so we got the game. I punted big time, but luckily it didn't matter. Like it was my turn three, I believe, play was just really bad on my behalf. We just get luckily we get punished. We probably did not deserve to win that game three, given the sloppiness there. For those of you who are tuning in, here's the list I'm playing. It's the same list I played on Friday night to a 5-0. Notably with the first opposition agent in the sideboard. I had a free slot, which was a Force of Vigor that I changed to a Leyline of the Void. And the reasoning is I'm not sure we even need Force of Vigor because the decks where Force of Vigor is good, we tend to be pretty favored. The ley line could be anything to be honest. I'm just trying for fun to mess with the graveyard players. Uh, I think on the horizon, I may just even test a second agent, but I think having a little bit too many three drops is a potential concern. Also, it comes in against black matchups, but I don't want to board in too many black cards against some of these wasteland decks. Like D&T is probably the biggest one coming to mind. So I may have to think about how I want to sideboard. I mean, not sideboard, remap. But Agent, for those of you who are curious, won me the 5-0 match on Friday night. So let me bring that up here. Oops. Copy link. This is a keep. Nice. Okay. Well, I'm saying nice to Dustin, like Drury here, who's a local, by the way. So nice to see Dustin here in the chat. It's the dreaded Rite of Flame matchup. I have been asked recently because there is now a growing belief that Elves might be at least the second best deck in the format, given like the results as of late. Five straight top eights, challenge top eights with this list. What are the bad matches for Elves, right? And I think Rite of Flame decks tend to be pretty bad. Either the Epic Storm or the Epic Gamble. Belcher. What else is a Rite of Flame deck? Like those come to mind, I guess, right? I think Oops All Spells is also a bad matchup. Not necessarily because usually graveyard decks are okay, but the sideboard Leyline of Sanctity is a big problem. So here they've gone down to one. I think we're dead. I didn't keep track. I just assumed they were dead once they went off, but I didn't actually look at their. Oh, they have a wish call. Okay, we are dead. Actually, they have a tendrils too. No shame losing there on turn one. Didn't get a turn, but that's what happens, right? Like one of the, I'm a little bit hesitant to call Elves the best deck in the format because we are a little bit soft to these decks because of no force of will protection. That is the only reason why I think like I would be hesitant to call like Elves tier one or whatever. Oh, not tier one, but the best deck in the format. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Twitch. I can't. I think maybe it's a Twitch thing that's going on right now, Dustin. Because I can't tell. I don't think my internet here is pretty good from what I can tell, and like the streaming services seem to be working in the background right now fine. Notably, the agent here is quite good. Before I wouldn't bring in the ley line, and I think Mike, local storm expert here. I think Mike, would you agree that we still don't board in the ley line now, like against TES? I know I would typically follow Mike, our local Storm resident, advice here, and he I know in the past has suggested not to bring in ley line against the Epic Storm. Notably, it's a lot better against the Epic Gamble, but definitely the Epic Storm there with ad nauseum tendrils. Sorry, ad nauseum. So without further ado, I think we just leave in the sideboard here. You can't. It didn't. Okay. I think we'll keep this. Hopefully, we'll get like a discard or a. I think a turn two collector is maybe reasonable. Mindbreak Trap's obviously good against this kind of deck. I think they know about Mindbreak Trap now for what it's worth. Like, it's the only real way we can beat these kind of decks. I think, like, on a consistent basis. We're not the mole. There's no turn one or two, turn two hate. This is like a lot better. Keep and then probably the symbiote. I think. Also, if you like the content you see, here are my socials. All right. Brainstorm, ponder. I think we just take the brainstorm here, so they can't brainstorm in response. And then turn two, we'll seize again. I'll show what's revealed here. They're gonna have to draw two cards here regardless because of the ponder. So whatever they have best, they probably put on top. Um, we'll see what they have though. The idea here is probably just to, like, get the natural order for either lethal or collective as soon as possible. Not shuffle. Okay. Let me play this. Um. All right. I think we just take the brainstorm then, right? In this situation. So if they kept something relevant on top, which I'm assuming they probably did, leading with glimpse was fine too. So I'm assuming that's on like a couple games ago, Jax. Okay, they probably just had the nausea on top. Yeah. What can you do? This matchup is quite hard. I feel you kind of need to have the Mindbreak trap. I don't think it really mattered what we took. Maybe this fixed. What is fixed? Are you asking, Dustin? I think we're dead. Yeah. I'll check again. I don't know what is going on here. All my follow channels, notably, are all offline. So I don't think this is hopefully not a coincidence, but let's see. Okay, so we just lost to TES. I think the matchup is quite hard. It's probably maybe the hardest matchup we have. Okay, Flash 14. I don't know what they're on. Yeah, the internet here is not a problem. I know that's. I'm like testing it right now. So it's something with Twitch. I think here I'm notably gonna lead with the probably the Allosaur Shepherd. Well, actually, I'll probably just leave the Druid, see what they do. I don't think they're gonna. I mean, maybe they force it. I don't know. If I knew they were on combo for sure, I would lead with the Shepherd because especially force like against Force of Will combo decks. But I mean, we don't know for sure, right? What they're on. So I'm gonna lead with Heritage Druid. Thank you for the follow, Randolph. So you didn't read my comment. I saw your comment, Jax, about Glimpse. But I'm assuming it was for the Grixis game because it didn't make sense in the context here, right? Against the TS player we just played against. Like I boarded out the glimpses, and we didn't even get a first turn against the like that is the problem. I would say that is the biggest weakness with this deck at the moment. You're just kind of naked game one. I do think the combo matchup is better than people realize because of endurance and reclaimer. Oh, you gotta be kidding me, Belcher. All I ask is just like some real matchups. I did jinx myself potentially right now. I said we have a weakness to Rider Flame decks. We could have cut them off one mana with the endurance. I just maybe it's not even worth it. I don't know. So looks like it did matter. They could have still put it in. We're probably still dead, but I guess we can try and see if it would have mattered. This matchup was a nightmare. So they would have had two top. Well, I don't know what their last card in their hand is, but they could have potentially. Hindsight's 50-50. I mean, 2020, right? I don't think we want an agent. That doesn't do anything here. The game's not gonna matter by then. This matchup is like an auto loss. We used to queue into what's his name, Iron Claw 2016 all the time on this matchup. Thanks, Mike, for responding. I know that was from the TES matchup. I disagree with Sneak and Show and Lands being kind of bad. I think Lands used to be really bad. I don't think that's the case anymore. I think it's like actually slightly unfavorable, but and I'm being generous actually. I think it's closer to even now. Yeah, I agree, Mike. Thanks for the feedback there. Do we care? I feel like maybe the Leyline they could like in case they're on the Echo version. This matchup is like awful though. I don't say this is the worst matchup because you don't see Belcher all that often because it can't be Force of Will. But out of any deck, this might be the worst. Of the realistic decks you can see, it's probably either the Epic Storm or the Epic Gamble. No, that's not gonna get done. Sure. I think we might just be on the Mold Mindbreak Trap plan against this kind of deck. Sneak and Show, I think, is probably unfavorable, but is winnable because of Reclaimer for Caracas. The hard part about being Sneak and Show is not the show and tell part; it's the sneak attack part because they can activate multiple times. Keep the hard part, and then I think lands is fine because one, we learned how to play against it, and two, the Boseiju printing it was huge. Yeah, I agree, Jax, that we should seize a second time for sure. I wish there wasn't this lag though at the moment. I don't know what's going on with Twitch. I'm like tempted to really play the third Mind Retract. It just keeps winning games because a lot of these decks that we're weak against cannot beat it. Namely TES, the Epic Gamble, and Oops. Because they're playing around discard, right? Amp can beat Mind Retract pretty consistently. I think the messages seem to be coming in now, although kind of at a slower rate. But all right, we're gonna fetch first, and then once upon a time into C's. I think the ideal draw here is like a Reclaimer or Oof or something. Only one viable card here. I guess we'll find out real quickly. I think we take the Burning Wish because otherwise they're incentivized to go for it. Yeah, I think we take the Burning Wish and then we just pass. We don't want to give away that we have the Mind Break Trap too. Like if we take something else, it's probably dead giveaway. Then we give it that we have the Mind Break Trap, or at least something up our sleeve. Uh, I think you're probably right on Jax. I'd have to look again. That like I think it's tough because like they ponder kept and presumably kept a better card on top. Um, so you might be right. I I mentioned it earlier. About that, like it didn't feel great to take the ponder there, but sorry, the brainstorm there. But I think they'd probably kill us regardless. I have played Doomsday before with Romario, and something we look forward to doing again pretty soon. Leyland Void. I think we might as well play it, right? Like, I don't like they could have technically Echo. Uh, did they have it, Jax? I didn't remember. I know like they had an Opal, but I'm not sure that was like turned on or not. We could have dealt them 2 damage here, but we don't get the Arbor. Thank you for the follow, X or alright. Let's see what they do here. So Thoughtseize. Lang got. I think this hand is like probably just pretty super redundant. Um, I think we just take the Seething Song maybe. I think I actually take the Tinder Wall because they have to. They can play that out actually. Yeah, I don't think we're supposed to be running into Belcher, right? Like, I don't mind losing to the Epic Storm, but it sucks that we're pairing into Belcher here. We just want a natural order here so we don't expose the Mind Break Trap that we have potentially for game 3. Um, maybe they. Okay. Better lucky than good. think we hoof here. I haven't played it in quite a while too because the person that usually plays it is Ironclaw 2016. And while I run into them in leagues, they've been on the mono black deck as of late. So that's why I've been able to fade it at least a little bit lately. Maybe they just concede here, hopefully. Yeah. All right. So they don't know about the Mindbreak trap, which is probably our only hope. Game three. And it does not look like they're on the Echo version, so I'm gonna go ahead and board out the Leyline of the Void. And then I guess we can just bring in like an endurance or something for as like a Lotus pedal. I don't. Well, the glimpse could be more relevant, but I think we're just gonna play to the board. Uh, Actually, I think we just want to draw into something relevant instead of trying to get lucky with the endurance. Hey Robert, how's it going? Yeah, I know, right? Like of all days, we get. I guess it makes sense, right? We're playing in a time slot here that's right after the challenge. So, at least during the challenge, and all the decks trying to dodge it over are probably out in full force right now. We are the beneficiary. I probably logged in a little bit too late to be rated by some of the other streamers, but that would be probably one benefit of streaming right as the challenge is about to end. Yeah, we're playing against Belcher, so probably a loss, but we'll see. We lost game one when they Belcher. We could have kept them off one mana with Endurance. I'm not sure it would have mattered regardless. Actually, it might have if they missed, but I don't think they're gonna miss on mana for the most part, right? I guess we'll never know. They notably, you actually no. They notably use their Lotus Petal for the extra mana. So yeah, as long as they had another one, they probably would have been fine. Mulligan, need the Mindbreak Trap. There it is. Nice. So all well ends well, right? If we can trap them here, I don't feel as bad as not endurancing there in game one. We probably did to be honest, anyways. But nice. Our opponent's lagging here. I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe it's just I don't know. Yeah, that's a good point, Jax, about showing the ley line. I take that as a big compliment, bookish Matt. I will say, the biggest benefit of playing elves is you're probably the my opponent put that's hard. I don't know what they're referring to. Okay, they're referring. My opponent has typed their mulligan decision is hard. I didn't realize this deck had a hard mulligan decisions. I just thought it's like, do you have the kill or not? But yeah, I would say elves benefits from being able to play discard, right? It's kind of funny. I thought about this yesterday, that some people were saying the three best colors in Legacy right now are Jeskai colors, and somehow the other two colors have formed to arguably have the second best deck in Legacy right now. Based at least on recent results, right? Like we're going on five straight top eight challenges now, with just more or less three pilots, right? Just Yurg, Curran, and Inigo. Uh, there are a few others playing the deck, but they're relatively newer players to the build, and sprinkle that in with a few other of these traditional Nettle Sentinel players, Oli Ride and who am I missing? The other one, obviously Fluffy 21, Martin Lindstrom, and then who am I forgetting? Somebody else I don't remember, but more or less, with the limited number of pilots just converting really well on top eight. I don't. A question I get asked a lot is like, oh, do I play the challenges? I do not actually, just because I have other things to do in my time. I do a lot of the testing for some of my peers through leagues. So I know the quick response would be, oh, leagues, that's not worth the time, right? Like, but that's actually not quite true. I think, especially with a deck like Elves, where your worst matchups historically have been combo. I do think the deck is better against combo than people realize, especially going through leagues with combo where you have the matchups pretty well tested, right? Like, and presumably you can win your fair matches without dedicating any cards or it, at all. Hopefully, right? Like, Thoughtseize is like a fair card that can come in fair matches, but it helps in combo. Same with Endurance. Our opponent is on. Jeez, keep. I think here we're probably just gonna put the Visionary back. We're not gonna have time. Thank you for the follow, Eon Way 97. For those who don't know, I think Eon Way has top aided a few recent match legacy challenges with Reanimator. I think they might have switched now. I don't. I think I saw they were on something else yesterday because I was just looking at top eight finishes. What is going on? They're on 12 minutes. It's times like these where like I can be a little bit tilted, because it's not supposed like if this happened in a IRL event, um, it's probably advised to call a judge, right? Like because you don't want to go to time. Oh, thank you. Okay, classic. Yeah, the part two will come out in 3 weeks. I left the 4 week gap because I release articles every 2 weeks, and then in between would be a cyborg mask. Cyborg masks really come out every week. Sure. Yeah, it'll be coming out 3 weeks, and then the metagame update will be a week from now. That's the reason why it's gonna be 4 weeks in totality. So three from more or less today. But I also wanted to give players time to actually implement these changes, right? Because I mentioned this before. I think 95% of people who try to play this deck probably lose a game within the first two turns and don't even realize it oftentimes. because they like sequence incorrectly on turns 1 and 2. Usually, the incorrect sequencing on turn 1, you can get away with it. It's usually the turn 2 missequence that is backbreaking, and but like I want to be able to give players a time or readers a time to give feedback on the article first, and then how do you like the Nettle Sentinel list? I played in Bologna. I went 1-6. Lost to Mirror with Claimer Storm. I do not like it at all. Even if Reclaimer didn't exist, I think knowing what I know now, I probably still wouldn't play Nettle Sentinel. That's good to know, Mike. I'm glad the buffering is getting better here. Sure. Alright, they're just gonna be blown out here. So, notably, oops. I think we're just gonna go with turn 1 Reclaimer, and then save the Green Sun for a Collective. We're having all kinds of lag issues today, right? In game, Twitch, like I don't know what is going on with the clients here. One drop elf is probably ideal here. Actually, you say I'll receive. We could Thoughtseize them. We can still lose here. I'm like debating whether I want to Thoughtseize or not. I think the answer is yes, just in case. Sure. And then we're gonna go for a turn 3 Collective, which we still have, right? I think so too, Jax. We talked about this before. For those who don't know, two different things, right? Like I always play Thoughtseize usually when I can. There's some minor exceptions to the rule, but I'm not gonna get too much into it. I think a land here would be ideal. Action you shall receive. And like just more or less picking them apart here, right? Haven't updated Win 11, have you? No, Anurag was imploding after getting you. I don't think I have. This is a line I think a lot of people would probably miss, which is the main phase reclaimer for Arbor to save a land drop into another guy's cradle. And then we have a clock now. Our opponent typed, wow, full hate draw. Interesting. I just responded with, I play a lot of Disruption. It is very aggravating when our opponent is like this far behind on clock. Here I'm typing off the cradle because I want to be able to draw into C's, right? Is I think can I think here I'm just gonna rotate the cradle for another cradle because that will grow everything. It actually gets another piece of damage out too, right? You like discard with reclaimer in play because yeah, that makes sense. I boarded out the bog for whatever it's worth. You got to be kidding me. They're really playing this card? Oh my god. What is going on? I didn't even know the Belcher plays this. It seems bad. Like, maybe we could draw into a second trap here. But there is a chance we're just dead too, right? Like, we have the collective, but. I'm like so triggered right now from our opponent. Like, their internet must just be awful because, like, what is the hold up? I don't understand. We just gotta fade the nuts here, but I mean, we might just be dead. I don't know what they have. Obviously, actually, they probably the best they can do here is empty. They can potentially sweep, but that's a lot of mana without LED. So they might just be dead. But if they're playing Reforged or so, they just have other nonsense, right? I just don't understand what is the hold of here. They're like a full, almost 12 minutes behind us. Yeah, that makes sense, Jax. I really just don't understand here. Oh my god. I apologize, Chad, if I seem, or not even seem, I am a little bit frustrated. Like, I just don't understand the clock discrepancy here. And it's not like they're figuring out hard. This is like Belcher we're talking about. All right, I'm just gonna take a. Jesus, I'm gonna take a quick get water right now. I agree, Jax. We would be dead if without the oof. This is like beyond ridiculous, though. What's going on with our opponent? Like, there is a chance if I just use the restroom here, they're still gonna be. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. This is just a waste of time. opponent might just even time out. Like this is how ridiculous it is. Empty the warrens. Maybe grape shot and then kill the collective is the only thing I can think of. I have done that before too, Jax. Where like if they are this slow, I have conceded, but we literally had the win. Pyroclasm. Okay. Jesus Christ. It's pretty ridiculous. We have the win here. In case they have something crazy. This is one of our harder matchups too, if not the hardest. But but the thing is that deck folds the Mindbreak Trap, which we happen to have. I won here, but I felt like I lost. Like lost of, life EV. All right, Janky B. They're a pretty decent player. I think they're usually on like, I don't know, Delver or what is it called? Some kind of stompy deck. It's not the fastest hand, but it has lands and spells, and typically will keep most. Reanimator? Yeah, looks like it. I'm kind of glad we have the ley line here. Uh, Typically, the way the Reanimator matchup works is we'll lose game one and should be favored post board. Um, so I'm almost certain we're gonna lose game one if it's Reanimator, which it looks like it is. Reanimate? Sure. The nice thing here is we can Besage the Animate Dead now. Also, they know we're like presumably they know we're not on Force of Will. That's like one of the biggest downsides of playing Elves. I think if they know you're not on it. I think that we might have a buffering issue again. I'll just F6 here. I mean, if we had a response, they would. All right, now, we're just dead now. So they know what to do. That's gone. Somehow it does not feel like, even though they're fast here, our opponent doesn't really feel like it makes up a little bit, I guess, for the previous round. Here, even if we kill the Gristlebrand here, right, like, doesn't do anything. We're dead. I'll concede. Yeah, we played Grixis into TS, into Belcher, into Reanimator. I actually think it's not too crazy of a league, Jax. The only crazy part is the Belcher player, right? Here, I think we want the ley line. That's good. The endurances are good. The Karankas, I think the Seas. I don't actually want the agent because there's a scenario where they thought sees us and then reanimate our agent and we suddenly can't win, right? Like, I think that would be awful. But I would potentially have to think about that more. I just don't want to risk them like reanimating it. Although if they reanimate that, like we can't, we suddenly like all of our tutors no longer work, right? So probably not. Yeah, I think we keep it like this. That is one downfall I would say of opposition agent. Kind of dangerous to play against reanimator. They reanimate that like our bog no longer works, our natural order and green suns no longer work, our fetch lands no longer work. I think we'll pause for a second to make us our opponent think our hand's like quite bad. I think we'll keep. I want to save the green sun for a reclaimer turn two. Not having force is what makes Frill Mystic so busting. Hey Tron Travolta, that is sure. I'll agree with you for uh for the heck of it. We have like our pseudo force of will, which is like endurance, but um, it's more playable, I would say, than like some of the other stuff. But Archon can be unbeatable, yeah. They probably take the endurance, yeah. Notably here, we get rewarded too. We draw another endurance. All right. I feel like we have to Thoughtseize here. We might just be dead. We are so far 2-1. Unfortunately, only played against one blue deck, the one you saw, the Grixis deck that we just like ran over with Gris. And then we just ran into a lot of Rider Flame decks. Lost to TES, and then beat Belcher, which I don't know why we're playing against Belcher, but it's a different story. I think here, same thing, right? We're gonna hold the Allosaur Shepherd in case we draw the Endurance. There's like really no reason to play it. We lose to top decks there. Mm, I think here we just play the Shepherd and then play the Reclaimer. And if we untap, we win. Oh, do ants. That's true. We're only playing one because what is it called? We're only playing one because uh-oh. It is a 3-drop. We have to get to turn 2 or 3, depending on. Nice. All right. I think the game is now virtually over. Okay, it's even more over now. If we tap with both, we still have 3 mana plus. Yeah, we have enough. This matchup is a little bit tighter than it previously was because we have trimmed on some cards that are good in this matchup. The rest is like the big one. Like Mind Merge have a lot more dicey against Reanimator. Yeah, Opposite can end it. It will end the mirror too. It's a pseudo mirror breaker, right? I think here we have lethal, so we're just gonna go for it. Yeah. All right. This might be hard because the reclaimers are not as good here on the draw. Yeah, Rite of Flame is definitely a headache for us. If you are Bryant Cook or Tony Scapone, Viverus, or their followers, uh, that is a hard matchup, I will say. I think that is probably that and maybe Oops All Spells are the hardest matchups right now. Anything with Rite of Flame and I think Oops All Spells because of Leyline of Sanctity shutting off pretty much every random sideboard hate that we have. I don't think we can keep this hand. We have the one ley line. Maybe we'll just draw the ley line or mull into it. Okay, not hitting our hate cards for some reason. I don't think we can give a Caracas. I guess it's kind of mull 5. Wow. Okay. Uh, keep. Don't want that. Uh, probably don't want that. I think we don't want the trap. Our opponent is like, what the heck? I thought we that version doesn't play late on the void. This is the Jay Z special, right? 1x Leyline of the Void that is impossible to play around. Probably take the Reclaimer. Actually, maybe they take the Endurance, try to reanimate. That feels loose to me though. What? Okay. I mean, if they wanted board in for Leyline, then they got us, I guess. Okay, so this dies, and we lose here if they have exactly. Oh, sure, sure, sure. We lose here if it's actually I don't even think there's an out, right? Like they have 3 cards, it has to be 2 reanimation spells plus. It's too slow. I think we go for the kill here. It has to be exactly land, whatever, whatever. It could be dark ritual too, I guess. All right, that's a good sign for us. Yeah, see, this is what happens if you potentially hold the reclaimer. They can seize away the endurance, and then you potentially lose going forward. I think we're pretty favored from this spot now. Don't care. This has never worked against me. So if you're playing Reanimator, do not go over this line. If you're playing against me, or maybe even other elf players. Useless card. Just resign yourself to sometimes. Yeah, I mean, if they have it, they have it. Like, there's a lot of cards to ask for. Okay. We'll play the second land drop. Rotate for more damage. I'm not really concerned. We're like miles ahead right now. They can attack. They're gonna lose the race if they do this. I don't even think we want the Caracas. What is going on? Think we're gonna follow Ice Kiwi. Now natural order is just lethal. Again, no fear. I don't not the least afraid of this. Like the minute they took the reanimate on the endurance, in my mind the game is already over. Maybe the logic is the game is already over regardless. You right. Or land, I guess, right? Hello, Romario. Yes, it's so much better, right? You attack with a reclaimer and they just like cannot do anything. Gotta get the deck thinning equity here. The important thing here is to keep in mind how many fetchables we have left. We have two. Twitch appear disconnected. Yeah, it is. I don't know what is going on. Sorry, Jay Z. Yeah, I think the chat is super delayed for whatever reason. All that deck thinning, hopefully working out here. All right, that's pretty good. All right, what do we want here? 3, 4. I think we can get a Gris and play around show and tell. Nice. That's actually a good card to rotate away. Any natural order or green sun now is lethal. Sure. The game is, in my opinion, already over. And we're just like, yeah, they're not gonna beat this. I'm glad our opponent like kind of realized that and just saved everybody time. Like that's very good sportsmanship, I think, and also just time equity, right? Especially loss that Belgian players is aggravating. That win, I want to shout out to Jay Z, Jonathan Zach. We'd probably lose that game. Otherwise, we didn't play the ley line. So again, I want to shout him out. The force of negation is unfair because look, if Elves is beating Reanimator pretty consistently, you know combo decks have it rough, right? Like, what would yeah a notably force of vigor doesn't do anything in that situation. Yeah, the one of Leyline I think almost impossible to play around. If they want to keep his Serenity, be my guess. And while the Force of Vigor is good, I do think we in the matches where it's good, we tend to be favored. Namely DNT, namely what's the other one I'm thinking of? Eight cast. That's like a virtual buy. I think the stream might be slow. Now that I'm thinking about it, it looks like the chat is now up to date. I'm gonna do testing right here. Yeah, so the chat is ahead of the stream now. I don't know what's going on, but it's one of those Sundays, right? It's one of those Sundays. I'm gonna go ahead and actually post my Patreon here again for those of you who are interested. Like, actually, I'll give even a sneak peek, right? I'll give a sneak. Yeah. So Jonathan, you're right. The chat is ahead. What was I gonna say? Oh, sneak peek at my latest elf sequencing guide. Oops, wrong one. Wrong one. I didn't want to do that. Here is the one I'm talking about. So here's a sneak peek. If you're interested in part one of the sequencing guide, part two out of two will be coming out in 3 weeks. But I go over like what to do. Part one is turn zero and turn one, and part two is turn two and glimpse sequencing. Um, and here, like, we talk about like some of the things to do and not do, right, with sequencing. Turn zero is pretty obvious. I think the more interesting stuff is like turn one and especially turn two, which I think majority of the games are lost on turn two, in my opinion. Like every time I watch an elf player, it's usually the turn two they make a debilitating misplay. I've seen misplays on turn one, but that's typically not why what is it called? That's typically not why they lose the game. All right, it's usually on turn two that the game is like won or lost. Yorian, probably DNT. Hey, Will, we have the Magic Online, the current, sorry, the current reigning Magic Online champion here in the house, the real X Will. Rumor has it he has an imposter somewhere. I'd like to know where that person is, but that's another story for another day, right? But here, the glimpse of nature kind of awkward, especially if they're on like Spear of the Labyrinth or something. I think I'm just gonna mulligan here. This hand doesn't seem great to me. This is a lot better. Keep. I think here we put a visionary back. Well, actually, that's all. I think here a bit of value back. Hey, well, yeah. Oh, okay. So they are not on what we thought they were on, but that's okay. Yeah, we. So I've said this. Actually, Jonathan mentioned this, but the chat is faster than the stream. But yeah, we are graced with the Magic Online champion here. Jay Z. Alright, so time to move on. Uh, Typically speaking, Yuri on anything is like a pretty good matchup for elves. It doesn't matter what Yuri on. The exception actually might be just what is it called? The Cephalid breakfast deck might be unfavorable. But Yuri on DNT, Blue Zenith is like a buy, I guess. Thank you for the follow, Cola Knight. Alright, so that is kind of cool. We gotta untap with this Visionary here. Time to slam the Visionary. We draw a Cradle, that would be Sublime. They want to daze that, like, be my guess. I doubt they have it. Here, I actually think the line is to ramp again. I think we want the creatures for the glimpse. Thank you, Jay-Z. Obviously, shameless plug here. Elves has now, this version of Elves has now top 8 5 challenges in a row, and by 3 players. Obviously, all 3 players are very good in their own right. This includes Jurg with the last 3 top 8s, Inigo, who was undefeated in the Swiss when he was top 8ed. Inigo is Runcore, Jurg is Aaron Relentless, and also Testacular, also very strong run in his top 8. Notably, all have access to my Patreon account content. So take that for whatever you will, right? Like, I think it, especially since the article about sequencing. Will the real Expo please not? Yeah, we still don't know where he went, right? Like, yeah, for sure. Will. I don't know why the thing is so slow, but it is what it is, right? Twitch is just like not cooperating with us right now. What was I gonna say? Yeah. Oh, so they all have Patreon. They all have subscribed to my Patreons. So I do think the latest article, if you are on the fence, is probably the best article I've ever written because it goes into sequencing. And I mentioned, like I said, 95% of games are probably lost within the first 2 turns because of like improper sequencing. Thank you for the follow, Gangrels. There is some lag, I think, going on here. I'm not sure though. This could be. I'm assuming it's Blue Zen. I could be wrong. It could be, I guess, on the off chance, like some Allure deck or something. All right, I think maybe our opponent is having issues as well with their client, maybe. All right, looks like the client is fine for our opponent. Maybe they have to just stand up or whatever. I recognize it's like big, but I don't know who Steve MLP is. Loam. So it looks like it is the Zenith deck, right? I think here we're just gonna like fire off the glimpse and then see what they do. We have a lot of mana, so that's always good. Yeah. So we're fire off the glimpse, and let's see. Notably, actually, we probably should have played the Visionary. Slightly sloppy sequencing from me. Here we get blown the you know what f out if they. Okay, perfect. we get blown the you know what out if they had removal. So I think we just want to get the value. We're gonna green sun for one here. It notably gets either a Waterwood or a Heritage Druid. Okay, see, they did have the swords, right? Like, now I'm real glad that I think we'll follow Doc Magic. I think with that said, if we get the Waterwood here, um, and we replay, we have up to 4 mana. I think it's probably fine. Don't need a rush, I guess. I think also notably, we can just get the what's it called here? Allosaur Shepherd. The second Waterwood here doesn't do anything. Probably the game is already over. If I'd imagine. It's got to be like Wasteland into like some relevant stuff here. Our opponent is probably just dead. Yeah. For those of you who want to see how it's done drafting, you know, follow uh, at Xwell. All right. Okay. We're gonna bring in the Progenitus. I think we're just gonna bring in the Endurances to deal with the Uros. I think this matchup is like close to impossible to lose. I don't think we want the crop. Like, it could be a liability. Oh, Agent seems quite good here. I think this because they have Green Sun, so we'll do that. And then I actually don't think we want Caracas because we have Bog for Earl already. And if they have a chance to Earl, we're probably in big trouble. Submit. Maybe we can agent someone here. That'd be kind of nice. I do think the one ley line here was kind of clutch, right? It was just impossible to play around. Alright, opponent is still sideboarding here. I think, like I said, we should be pretty favored. Like, there are ways you can lose this matchup. I think I've lost it, like, a few times. But I think this matchup is, like, pretty close to 70-30 or so. It's, like, fairly lopsided. The way you lose is, like, they have what's it called? A Leovold and your hand just lines up really poorly. That's, like, one way. And then they, like, get an Earl out and run it away. Keep. I think the other way you lose is like out of the board. Your hand just happens to be the one that cannot beat a Plague Engineer. Most hands we have can beat Engineer for what it's worth. I think here we're just gonna ramp and just do our thing, right? Like I think the onus is gonna be on our opponent to actually get to disrupt us, and I don't think it's that easy for them. All right, so perfect. We're just gonna I said in my sequencing guide, if you are unsure of what to do turn one, when in doubt, just ramp for Green Sun. If you're unsure, the second best start is probably Reclaimer, and then maybe like Allosaur Shepherd. Those are like in order the best 3 starts you can have if you're unsure. All right. I think what we're gonna do here is we could glimpse, but I think it's gonna be a little bit greedy. So I'm gonna force things through. Oh, okay. If we glimpse here, we only draw. Oh, I say only, right? We draw one, two, three. Actually, we draw a whole bunch, right? Like, we glimpse here, tap two, play the symbiote. That's one. Untap, draw one. Hold on. It's at least an ancestral, so I'm gonna take it. Just cash the ancestral up front, right? Obviously, it has upside too because of. It's more than that actually. They'll draw four. Now, yeah, I think the glimpse there is just too valued given that we have the setup where they didn't do anything turn one, and then we have like the guy's cradle. Birds of Paradise. Okay, so they're digging deep. They know like the clock is ticking, right? Opponent just double thought cast or ancestral plus thought cast, whatever you want to say. Engineer maybe. All right, so we're gonna bounce. There is a chance they name insect. I would guess more likely is gonna be more likely it's gonna be elf. There is a chance they're gonna name me insect, and then they're gonna Yori on it, and then yeah, so there is that. All right, we can force it through here. We have a Grist if we want, but Grist not that particularly good against this Plague Agent on insect. So I think what I'm gonna do here is Visionary and see what I draw. Mm. All right, we boarded out all the heritage. Uh, the Birch Lord here ramps, which is nice. Nobody the heritage is out, which is awkward. I don't think we want the reclaimer right now because of the cradle. Yeah, I think let's go for a protected kill, right? Like now they have a second engineer. It's gonna be real bad for us. But our hand doesn't really dictate playing around second engineer here. Oh my god. See, that is kind of annoying, right? Like, we can beat the first one. The second one is hard. We still have outs. Like, Natural Order is a nice out here. That is also a nice out. Mm. So I can glimpse again and draw two. But I think I want to do it this way. Oops. We just want to dig towards the natural order here. Yeah. The first one we can beat. The second one is hard. I do suspect there's going to be a lot of Plague Engineers and Sideboards going forward. Like, the deck is already kind of putting up a lot of results, and I've already noticed the increased number of hate. Um, I do think this is kind of an anomaly because they have 80 cards and drew two of their haymakers. So we play the percentages, right? You can't lose this game, but let's see, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. I think we once here. Oops. And see what we draw. Notably, the grist doesn't really do anything here. I think we just take the visionary. We still can win this game, but we need to draw well. That starts with that. We needed a creature there. All right, that's quite unfortunate. I think here we're gonna get a reclaimer. Opponent can notably blink their engineers, which is like super annoying. We needed the natural order much earlier. I think it might be too late now. Like Earl's not that far from escaping, and potentially they just wipe out our Dried Arbors here. Right? Like they can blink it if they want. It's just if they want to kill the Reclaimer, they want to kill the Arbors. Probably the Arbors. Yeah, they are almost assuredly gonna blink five creatures here, or six. Sorry, five creatures plus abundant growth. We can't really complain about double engineering here because we did draw a lot of hate against the Belcher player as well, and I mean it happens in general, right? Notably, our opponent should have blinked everything out. The reason being is because at least you have blockers if something happens. I'm almost certain they're gonna kill the. Yeah, our opponent should have brought the Arbor and the Engineer back to give it pseudo vigilance, right? probably too late now, but you can try. So notably, Yorion can attack in the air, and we can't stop it. Sure. I think that's just lethal here. The play might have just been to get endurance. Our hand was like pretty solid too. I felt like good about our hand. It's just like fighting through two pieces of Plague Engineer right here is kind of hard. I do think it was correct to lead with the Shepherd there because it allowed us to draw four. But our glimpses were not particularly great there. They should not attack with this because right, it doesn't change the clock. Hey, Mike, what do you mean? Are you just seeing a lot of elves or just doing crazy things? Most of the mirrors that I play, or at least pseudo mirrors, are like the Nero variants, right? Like, I do think it's like very difficult to play this version, and I think that's one of the reasons why it's not as popular as it probably should be. But maybe I'm wrong now. All right, we're gonna. All right, now we're just dead. So only one league tonight or today because one we have the Belgian players waste all their time, right? Um, and two, I do have something to do in a bit. So once we wrap this up, I'll probably just do a review and then just one league for today. Maybe if I feel like I'll stream again, like a second league later tonight, like afterwards or something. But for now, at least. Um, I think how we boarded is probably fine. I don't think we care about the Yorian. Like if it gets to a state where Yorian matters, we probably lose anyways. And I think we're okay just running it back. Like sometimes it just happens, right? Like that double plague engineer. What are you gonna do? Especially when the first one is like on insect, which is like kind of annoying on that board state. Like our deck is actually built to play through engineer, but it's hard when they have two, right? Because the second one like really matters. I'm at the spot with engineer on elf and what's our main line to win from a progenitus? I think this is like really good. Keep. I think notably here, what we're gonna do is, um, we're gonna save the fetch land for an arbor, and then just see, right? Might be a swords here. Sure. Depending on what we draw, I'm like very tempted to just run out the bayou because I want this to represent because we're a little flooded, right? I want this to represent a creature. Yeah, I think we do that. Ooh, I like that. I like that. Maybe it'll be relevant here, right? Like, depending when they green sun. Maybe they green sun here, I don't know. Let's see if they play around it. I suspect there's no way. Hey Kai, how's it going? Are they really playing around it? Hmm. Very interesting. I think here, I guess we'll just run it out because I'm kind of surprised, but maybe we're supposed to main phase. Like I figured there's no way they're playing around it, but this is no 5-0 stream. Hmm. I think here I wanted to play the Cradle and then once see what they have, see what just we have. Maybe we're supposed to main phase the agent. I don't know. I wanted to full on blow our opponent, but they played around it. Need to prog and then hoof. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I got to think about whether I think it's correct there to maybe we play the fetch land and then but it didn't change anything, right? Like I'm surprised that they play the prismatic ending on the vision. It just seems real bad for opponent, personally. I don't think they're. I personally don't think they're like sniping, but it's a very strange play though. I think there's no world here we don't slam. Uh, nice. All right, the game's probably over. So if they block with engineer, that we run out the shepherd. I don't think we lose from here. I don't think there's an out. Sure. I think we play that just in case. All right, easy game. Easy game. Only the 4-1. We lost the TES, but we did Big Belcher. That's pretty big accomplishment, I think. Leyline of the Void, notably relevant, so pretty happy I played the one of. I'll show the list right now. Also, here we go. There we go. View previous deck. So a lot of games actually there. Let's go back to the league details, right? Like we beat Grixis Control. We lost to the Epic Storm. We beat Belcher. We beat What was Janky B even on? I don't even remember. Lost in 1 minute. Oh, Reanimator. Just mind break shots to engineers. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so we lost the Griggs to control because they just had like a lot of hate game two, and our hand just didn't line up well against them. Notably, we probably should have punted game one, but then we got lucky that we weren't punished. Sorry, game three, but we weren't punished. Lost the Epic Storm. We had double Thoughtseize, but um, their hand was just redundant against it. Like they had Cantrip Ponder put on top, and then we can't Thoughtseize what's on top of their Ponder, right? Like, and then we beat Belcher, which is like a 10-90 matchup typically, right, for us. So overcame that, and then like probably the overall hardest matchup in maybe the all of Legacy for us. Actually, maybe I think that's probably the Epic Gamble that might be the hardest. And then Janky B, because Belcher loses to itself a lot, right? Uh, we beat Reanimator. That's like favorable for us, slightly favorable because we'll probably lose game one, win games two and three typically. And then here, this sad to lose, drop a game, but they did double play engineer us game two. We can beat one, typically not both, out of